today's lesson is about interpreting linear graphs. So, there's nothing really new that we're going to deal with. We're going to talk a little bit about continuous and discrete data. Do you remember the difference? Continuous, you connect the dots. Discrete, you don't. Also, with the homework you got back, a couple of you lost points because up in the corner you didn't put what page number it is. Since we have homework coming all the time and some people turn in early and late, you must have the page number on there or I'm going to dock you points every time. So I need you to be well aware of that, okay? So if I'm going to interpret it, basically we're going to talk about a real world situation to get it back to something that we can interpret with math. That's basically what we're after. So our first one is on social science. In the aftermath of a hurricane in Tent City, would it help if I moved this to 200? Would that help?
Yeah, that helped.
I could go bigger. I don't think I can read it. Oh, you need this.
Do you mind if I use my phone real quick to send my email for my FAFSA information to my Gmail account and print it off?
Yeah, that's fine. How about this? All right, so let's try again. In the aftermath of a hurricane, a tent city house, I think I don't know the little words, so. Yeah, that's too big. I wonder if there would be there's not a 300 option. And now I lost it. Shall we try again? In the aftermath of a hurricane, a tent city housed 1,045 refugees. They are to be moved by bus to better accommodation. Each bus can carry 55 passengers. Assuming that each bus departs with a full load, write a linear function that relates the number of bus loads already departed to the number of still remaining at Tent City. And then we want to graph the function. Okay? So what are you going to let be your x and your y? Kara, what are you going to be as your x?
The number of bus loads already departed.
The total number of reference means depends on, yeah. So this is the number of bus loads departed. And what's y going to be then?
The number still remaining at the city.
So the number of refugees, can't spell. All right, now, if we're going to write an equation, what would it be? What would y equal to? I don't know why they got two boxes like that. Gordon, what do you think the equation is?
Wasn't it 1,045?
Yeah, it was 1,045. That's how many refugees we started with. Minus, wasn't there 55 in a bus?
Yeah, 55.
So it should be 55x. Now, the domain are whole numbers between 0 and 19 because you can't have a part of a person, right? So, if you look at their graph, do you see that these are just dots, not connected? It's not a line. Because we shouldn't be able, we don't need to connect them. So when you did the homework, we're just repeating what we've done before. We read the problem, we defined our x and y, we created an equation, and then we graphed the equation. You need to label the axis. So you probably have to have a little bit more work shown on your, if you use the 1/4 inch, you could use the 1/4 inch instead of the small, the 1/8 inch graph paper. And then just make sure that you label the axis. Now, is this a problem where we would deal with negative numbers, negative x's? So you have to be careful. You are going to have to deal with the domains. All right, so let's look at this quick check. And how much time have we used? 5 minutes. A sporting goods store sells cans of tennis balls. There are 3 tennis balls in each can. The coach of the tennis team is buying supplies. Write a linear function that relates the number of cans to the total number of balls. All right, so we're asked to relate these 2 things. So, I'm going to use X and Y, because I don't like wild ones. So, what are we going to think X? What do you think it's going to be? Number of cans. And who can tell me what the Y is going to be? Gary? Pretty easy stuff so far, right? What will be our equation then? Carol?
Y equals 3x.
When we do this one, will we have dots or will we connect them? Because check out here, can you have a half a can? So you know it's going to be dots. So at 0, if I buy 0 cans, I would be at 0, correct? If I bought 1 can, I would be at 3. 2 cans, 3 cans,
9,
and 4 cans.
12.
And again, I can't connect the dots on that. All right, so we check the second page. And if you notice, this one is basically the same type of thing, except after they've given you the graph. You just need to figure out what the slope is, what it means, and what is the slope becomes the rate of change, and you have to interpret it. The y-intercept, if you look at this one, that means then I start with 16 gallons, quarts, whatever of water, because that's where our starting point. And then you figure out the slope, so that would tell you how much you lost a year. So again, you were just basically interpreting what's going on. All right. Questions? Our time is running out, isn't it?
It's like 7.5.
Okay. Any questions? There is no notes for today. So you can